tastes good. Hi knitters, welcome to PJ Knits. My name's Penny and I live in Central Illinois, and I'm a knitter, a blogger, and a YouTube podcaster. And today is Monday, September 16th, 2024. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back to those who've been here before, and welcome to anybody who's new. We're so glad to have you part of our community. So let's start off with a weather report here of Central Illinois. It's summer still. Sorry to tell you all that. It's going to be hot this weekend, upper 80s, sunshiny. So, but it's warm enough for this knitter to turn on the air conditioning because, as everybody knows, I am knitting on winter projects right now, and I am not going to be sweating or having sweaty hands or not liking my knitting. So I turned the air back on. But I love, we had a little taste of fall, and I love having my windows open, hearing the birds, traffic, and just be in just fresh air. I love that part, so I miss that. But let's be honest, it's still summer. It's not fall here yet. And as much as I love fall and going into the winter and the knits, let's don't rush it because it will be here all too soon. And we want to enjoy this season. And so it is still summer, but yeah, I want a little hint of that fall. And we've had a couple of local festivals here. So that kind of, gets us in gear. But it's been so warm and kind of hot the last few days that the grass is really getting brown outside, so it doesn't need a whole lot of mowing. But anyway, that's the weather report for Central Illinois. It's going to be the 80s for the next week, so I'll just deal with it and go from there. So I want to talk a little bit about non-knitting. Let's start with that. What I did this past weekend. I went over for a kind of sort of long weekend over to Iowa for Grandparents' Day for my two youngest grandchildren over there. And that's the first time in all of these years I've been able to attend a Grandparents' Day at the grade school level. I'd always, before I had worked, couldn't get off. There was COVID, there was Bob, there was a colonoscopy last year that I couldn't get over there for. So my oldest granddaughter had hers earlier this year, and I went over for it. So much fun at her middle school level. And then this time I got to attend my first one over at the grade school level for my oldest grandson and my youngest granddaughter, her first time. She's in kindergarten. And it was so much fun to be able to attend. My weekend was filled with hugs. My youngest granddaughter loves to give hugs. She gives the best hugs, I'm just saying. And I love a hugger. And I love it when somebody reaches in and just hugs. The pat, hug, yeah, that's okay. But I love a good hug. And she is so good. They all three are, but my youngest she's so good at hugs. Never wants to let you go. And it just warms this grandma's heart for sure. But had a wonderful day there on Friday morning, and then I got in the car and did a little exploring of nearby town, and then decided to come back and just spend the afternoon on their three-season porch, just sitting there, and I was reading, doing a little knitting, and just enjoying the time. So Friday night I got to spend some time with both of the younger two grandchildren there, and then they turned me on to Nailed It on Netflix, which I had remember seeing that a couple of years ago, but I really didn't know what it was about, and they've got me hooked. So I'm going to check out more episodes of Nailed It on Netflix, something to kind of watch, while I'm knitting. And let's just put it this way. None of them are great bakers on Nailed It, but you know what? They're better than I, because those who know me well know that I love to eat baked goods, albeit gluten-free ones. But that's just not me. I like easy stuff. So anyway, then on Saturday, spent the day morning with my grandson, and then took him to his ball game and watched like a whole game and a half, and then sped up over to Iowa City, where I got to see my oldest granddaughter play in her softball game. She was in a tournament all day, so I got to see her I got to see her pitch. They lost, but that's okay. I got to see her pitch and bat, and I have not been able to do that this season. Have not been able to watch any of the kids do their softball or baseball. So I had a great Saturday. Flew home Saturday night, drove home rather, and kind of sort of in the dark, and got home, and so I just had a real great weekend. But I'm going to tell you, yesterday I felt it. I felt like I got my butt kicked, you know, and I was dozing off in the chair a lot, which is so out of the norm for me, really. And so it came to the realization, something that I have been trying to do for some time, and the doctor has told me, again, like they tell everybody, you know, you need to lose some weight, get some more exercise, do these core exercises, one thing and the other. And I was really good last winter doing indoor exercising, you know, via a YouTube video that I found, group, gal, anyway. And so I really, after this weekend, I really said to myself, you need to get back at it. Get back to doing some exercise, get back to watching what you eat, and just get better. Because I, as a grandparent, as a grandmother who love my grandkids to the moon and back, I want to be alive and healthy and able to dance at all of their weddings, whether I'm 90 or 95, right? So in order to do that, I think I have to make some changes. I have to really commit. So this morning I got up and I did my, the video that I follow is, and I'll link everything that I'm going to talk about today. I'll link below. Later today I'm going to go up and do that after the video goes. But it is a young lady and her mother sits down while she does the exercise. And it's a YouTube channel. It's called Yes to Next. And she does a plethora of different videos. Some of them are, and her mother's always sitting down doing them. She's always standing up, 10, 20, 15 minutes. There can be some weight exercises. There can be HIIT exercises. Just all kinds of videos. And I was doing those last winter when I just didn't want to go outside. Now, I could go out and walk my neighborhood because it's very safe. It's all in the street. But I'm, you know, I can do it alone. I could do that. But for some reason, I like when I walk, I want to walk slowly, and I want to go out and I want to enjoy what I'm doing and look about and maybe sit, you know, someplace. And so that's not going to give me the exercise that I really want. So I picked back up here today, Yes to Next, and I did her 20-minute HIIT workout, and very doable for me. Let's put it that way. I made myself this deal. About 10 minutes in, I was like, I am tired. I'm hot. I want a video today. I want to get a shower. I want to do knitting. You know, all the excuses that I've used before. And I'm like, at 15 minutes, I'm just going to stop. It's okay to do that. And when it got to the 15-minute mark, she's like, all right, we have 5 more minutes to do our last, you know, repeat. And I'm like, what the heck? Why not keep going? So, you know, pat myself on the back. I did the full 20-minute HIIT workout, and I feel so much better after doing it. So, you know, in this thought process, and I put it out here, and the reason I put it out here, because I know a lot of you will keep me honest and you will ask me about it. And so it would be nice if I could say, oh yes, I am getting better, and I'm feeling more fitter, and I'm getting more stamina. I guess that's really what I'm going for. And so the other thing with that is also that I really need to, you know, focus on the things that I eat. I have to tell you, on Saturday I ate lousy. And on the way home, I stopped at McDonald's and I got things that I would never have eaten entirely in the last couple of years. I didn't pull the buns off, and I usually pull at least half the bun off because I am not celiac or anything like that, but I've been going gluten-free, almost totally gluten-free has really kind of helped some issues that I've had. So, but I didn't care at that point. I just needed real food. And so I did that. And I think that's part of the reason that I didn't feel all that fantastic yesterday, because I just ate rotten for me. And no fault of anybody else, but it was just all about what I chose. So I'm getting back on my Weight Watchers bandwagon, you know, and being much better on that today. And so I want to lose the weight that I have put on, let's just say in the last year, you know, because I eat out of boredom. So back on the Weight Watchers, you know, train, because that really helped me many years ago to lose 50 pounds and keep it off for quite some time. So back on the Weight Watchers train. But here's my problem. I don't like to cook. You all know that. And I don't like hard things if I do cook. It's got to be easy, minimal amount of recipes, ingredients, and things that are good. I like salmon, but only like once. So I'm not really a salmon eater, but I do fish like cod. And I have a great recipe for that I'm using and some things like that. But I'm reaching out to you, the viewers, and if you would do me a favor, we're going to do a little giveaway, unusual giveaway for a sandy bag this time. And here is the sandy bag. It has this lovely vinyl bottom on the bottom. And is, you know, characteristic of all of hers, has this cool pocket on the inside and fabric. So we're going to give this away because I know you are also knitters, but also I need your help. Do you have a place that you go for easy recipes, minimal ingredients, most likely gluten-free? I have done the Real Pound Dropper. I need to check out that. I do Downshiftology. She does some fairly easy recipes, things. So I'd love to know down below if you have places that you go specifically for recipes like that you think I might like or might be conducive to my lazy cooking attitude. I'd love to know about that. And just comment those down below. And for everybody, you know, just because knitting is such, for me, again, I knit all the time. It's such a sedentary lifestyle that it's really a grab and go or get back at my knitting or whatever I'm doing. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, and we'll do a giveaway for the sandy bag. Now, I hope you're grabbing your cuppa this morning. Mine is my caramel macchiato. This one is one of the great joys of life, is scarfing down junk food. So appropriate. There we go. And it's and the thing is, this is one of those memory mugs that my friend Norma, who has passed away some time ago, that gave me. And so it's very appropriate for today's episode, or the first part of that episode. So, all right, let's get to the knitting. Thank you. I don't have any finished objects to show you. I have WIPs to show you, and I have explanation for those. So first WIP that I'm going to show you is my Helmi by Isabell Kraemer. And this is the one I've been working on for quite some time. This is a winter project, also in my very first sandy bag. Well, not my very first, my second sandy bag. And this is by Jody Long. This is out of Jody Long Alba yarn. And when I'm all done with the project, I will put on my project page, PJKnits 1 in Ravelry, all of the modifications on this and how much it used and all of that. Now, last time we we were together here on the podcast, where my little macaron is where I was at, and I finished my body, and now I am on to the sleeves. Now, there's kind of a method to my knitting madness right now, because I'm not a monogamous knitter, right? I knit a lot. I have a lot of WIPs, and I knit on a lot of things. But I'm trying really hard to finish some things that I've been knitting on. And so I'm calling this one really, it's really the one that I would take down to Fiber Universe when we knit on, because that's where I purchased the yarn. But right now, this is kind of my main project that I'm trying to knit on. So I make these little goals with myself. I'm trying to knit on as much as possible, and also give some love to the other ones as we go along. So this is my project that I take out to the porch, maybe in the afternoon. Definitely is going upstairs when I'm watching Netflix. a lot of my knitting time is done on this. And because I want to get this done. Right now, you all, I think, have probably had this thing happen when you're knitting on a project, and this is not really due to just the sleeves. I felt it in the body. Right now I'm doing a lot of stockinette. I'm at the stockinette portion of a lot of things. And you're like, oh, I just want this to be done because I want to move on to the next great project. And so that's why I'm making myself knit on this one. So I'm knitting on the sleeves. I'm hoping to knock this out and definitely have it done by the next time I podcast. But now I'm on the straight stockinette sleeve for quite some time. And I had this idea when I was over in Iowa that I think what I'm going to do, it's going to be long sleeve. And I think what I'm going to do when I near towards right before the rib, I'm going to put a group of these right before the rib. And so it has, as you can see, it has the blue in it and it has a little bit of the green. And then I'll finish it off with the rest of the sleeve and then onto the rib. So I think that would be kind of fun to break that up down at the bottom. And also I have a lot of the two contrasting colors left. I did not use much on those. So I'm going to put those down towards the end of the sleeve, but I'm really anxious to get this done. Now, full disclosure on this, when I did my swatch and blocked it, I really liked the feel of it. And as I'm knitting on this, I'm coming across, and I think it's whatever's in it, the linen maybe in it, but there's some vegetable matter in it. And some of it's kind of sticky, kind of pokes you. And when I come to those and they hurt, I pull it out. So I'm hoping that this softens up as much as my swatch did. Because right now it's kind of, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite, but I think in blocking it will help. So that is Helmi by Isabell Kraemer. This is one of those sweaters out of 52 Weeks of Easy Knits by Lina Magazine that I just love that book. You all know that for sure because I've talked about that before. So that is my first WIP. Second WIP. Now this particular project is my Musselburgh, and I'm calling this Musselburgh number 4. This particular project is sitting here next to my chair downstairs, so that while I'm cooking dinner or I'm just have a few minutes to knit, I grab it and I knit on it. And I made some progress. I took it out to the porch a little bit. And this is where I was at when we last met. It has a lily pad, Progress Keeper. This is by Les Garcons. This was part of their club from a year ago, their tropical series. And I decided that there's really no way that I would make socks out of this and wear it. And I didn't have anybody to do it for. So I decided to make a Musselburgh. And I took the contrast yarn that was included for heels, toes, and cuffs, and I put 3 stripes in it. And I put them up in one half, and so the other half is just going to be solid green. So whoever gets this will be able to decide where they want to go. If they want the stripe, they can have the stripe out, and if they just want a plain green hat, they can put the green on the inside. So that sits down here. It's just for grab and go, but I find myself grabbing and going this quite a bit because I really love knitting on these Musselburghs just because you can knit 10 stitches, throw it down and do whatever. Or if somebody calls on the phone, I can put it on speaker and I can talk to them and knit, just knit. So this is in my box that it was a gift, and it's a Mowry box. I love this box. I've got it's going to be my Musselburgh box, and it's got my little extra needles down in there and my Progress Keeper holder and my stitch markers and a crochet hook. So it just sits here next to me, and that gets some work on it as I have time. Not a priority, but one of those things that I'm just pick up and go when you want to. My next project, I am not working on at all. This, I pulled out one of my old first purchases, third purchase I guess from Hohe & Co. some time ago for one of their bags. And this is the Burmese Basic 18. We've talked about this before, and I'm using Rowan Felted Tweed on it from PYS. And I've not gotten that much progress on it. Let's just put it that way. Because I've been, seriously, I made myself put it away. Because this is the next one that I want to work on. And it's like, you need to finish Helmi first. So here, this is in the Rowan Felted Tweed from PYS. This is just, this is by Beth McDonald Stone. I talked about it on the last episode. Haven't gotten very far. As you can see, there's like my little progress keeper, Snoopy. They never want to stay. Anyway, that's where I was last time. That's where I was last time. So you can see not a whole lot of progress on it. I'm doing a rolled neck on it, and it's just a simple knit going down because this is going to be one of those things that I'm going to throw on and go. Hopefully sit out on the porch, you know, when it's just a little bit chilly. Take it, you know, over to Iowa or whatever. Just, you know, this is one of those projects that I just wanted to use the Rowan Felted Tweed out of PYS and just, you know, have some fun with it. But I'm not working on it until I get my Helmi done. That's kind of the what I'm putting into my brain is you cannot jump ahead like you are wont to do. And then because what happens is if I do that, then nothing ever gets finished. And so I'm like really, you know, I'm making a deal with myself, you know. Do you make deals? I make deals with myself. So that is Burmese Basic. My next WIP that I have on the needles, again, I swatched it. It was one of those days I was tired of stockinette, and I thought, I want to swatch. I want to swatch something. I want to swatch my next sweater. And so I did. Now, the thing about this is that I really could work on this when I'm feeling like I'm tired of stockinette. But again, it goes back to making that deal with myself. You have to get Helmi off the needles. But anyway, so I swatched yarn that I purchased from Hedgehog Fibres, and it is their Tweedy worsted. And so here is my swatch that I did. I love this yarn. I purchased this from Hedgehog Fibres earlier during the summer. And so I have a swatch. I am making Andrea Mowry Winter's Beach Cardi. That's what this is going to be. Let's see. Yes, I do have a pic of that. And again, this is going to be one of those projects that I'm not going to take with me at places. But when I get a little further along on some of my projects that I want to be finishing, then I can bring this back up. And so after I made my swatch, I decided to cast on. I've got the rib cast on and all the setup. But I've not worked on this since I did this part, since I did my swatch and this, because I really wanted to, I just need to finish. But love it. Look at those little bits in there. And there is a story by those bits that people send their leftovers to Hedgehog Fibres, and then she incorporates them into her Tweedies. So I am looking forward to this knit. It's going to be probably a winter knit for sure. One of those things that sit inside and watch it snow, right? And knit on it. But I loved my swatch. I've been doing my little tags on there and keeping my swatches. I learned that from friend Carol, who learned it from somebody else, because if you keep your swatch and you've used all your yarn, or you've given away the yarn, then if you need to make repairs, you at least have your swatch to make the repairs from. So thanks, Carol, for that tip. So that is my another WIP, not getting any progress, but just sitting there, waiting for me to come back. Finally, I'm going to show you a WIP. I'm going to show you a bag that has the WIP in it, but I'm not going to show you it because it's in pieces. And if you follow me on Instagram, I'm PJKnits, and you know that I am knitting a pig have been knitting a pig, have been knitting a couple of pigs for my youngest granddaughter for quite some time, more than a year. Let's just put it that way. We went to Montreal in May of 2023, so I have been knitting this pig since June of 2023. One of the pigs. And then I found another pig that I wanted to do. But anyway, it's in the pig bag. I call it pig parts because it's all in pieces. And I have a new goal for this. And the goal for this one is I have to go back for a birthday thing. Not for her, but I have to go back in mid-October, the 12th-ish. I'll go over. So my goal is to have this finished too. This is the project that sits in my bag that when I go out on the porch early mornings that I'm going to be knitting on. I made another deal with myself that on Tuesdays and Thursdays I would knit on the pig, and so far that has happened a couple of times, But I'm going to try really hard when I'm out on the porch to take this with me and get some more pieces done. This one is a pig that you have to sew together, so which I dislike intensely. So I'll be working on this, and follow me on Instagram, PJKnits, to get more progress as this goes on. And then before I go over in October, hopefully it will be done, and I can show you the finished object before we go. But that is the other WIP that I have, and I don't apologize for my WIPs, but I have to say I want to get them done, because again, I want to be wearing these sweaters when it comes time. So let's talk about Hap-A-Long. Is a knit along that I've been doing since the 1st of January and goes through the end of this year. We've had several people who have completed their haps. Mid-October, probably before I go back to Iowa, we'll do a Zoom for those who have been knitting Hap-A-Longs, kind of for you to show us your progress. I'm doing the Hansel full hap, and I'm just going to show you my progress. And this is my Sunday evening project. Last night I watched the Emmys, and I worked on it during the Emmy program. So this is, before I was doing Sunday Scrappies back in the thing last couple of years, and I finished my scrap blanket. And so really Sundays haven't had too, nothing real focused on it. But I decided that if I don't do anything else on my hap, that I should at least work on hap and make it, I'll wait, Penny, for you to catch up. Unfortunately, I don't edit, so I can't even clip that out. But I decided that I would work on my hap every Sunday, call it Happy Sunday. And even if it's just in the evening. So that's what I did last night during the Emmys, which I loved watching. I love watching award shows, but I specifically like the Emmys because they're shows that I haven't watched maybe, but I think, I'm going to look at that. I'm going to look at that. And I'm going to look at all the seasons because me as a knitter, I like to have background noise. And so if there's another series of shows that I haven't really checked out, maybe this is the time to do it. So anyway, I'm doing my borders, and I am up to, I think the border is like 30, and then you repeat it 15 or something like that. So I'm probably this first border, I'm more than halfway. And here's where I'm at. Last night I put some brown in. And my inspiration picture was a picture that Jameson's of Shetland posted a couple of years ago, kind of the water and the grass and the brown of the beach. And so and the different colors of the water, and then all of this that comes off of it. So I'm really liking this. This is a discontinued yarn from Lost City Knits from Denise, Foothills Fingering. I love this. And this is the large Hansel hat by Gudrun Johnston that I'm doing. And it's kind of all tidied up here right now. So I'm anxious to see where this, how large it blocks out, because my intention was to have a large, even larger than my other hap that I did, my Lerwick Harbor hap. So I'm hoping to get, maybe towards the end of October, have this totally completed. It's fun. The border is fun to knit on because there's only one row every so often that you have to pay attention to, which is what I'm on next. But then the others are just garter and pearl, some pearl and knit, different. So I'm just loving this for sure. So that's my Sunday evening, make myself do it on Sunday evenings project. So that kind of encompasses all of the really current WIPs, the WIPs that I'm giving a lot of love to right now. So let's segue into transitional knits and right now. Because I don't have any finished objects to show you, because I am knitting on winter, I wanted to share some things with you for transitional knitting, because some of you, down in the southern part of the world will be going into winter and maybe reverse that. Your winter, our summer, right? Our summer, your winter. There you go, whatever. So anyway, transitional knits, let's just call it that, for whatever the season, whatever you're at. And I wanted to show you this one and talk about it a little bit. This is from my knitting wardrobe. This is called, I love this, The Party Top by Abby Knits. And this for me was a COVID knit. And when I say COVID knit, it's kind of like threefold. Number one, during COVID, I was introduced to Instagram. And via Instagram, I was introduced to daily lives by the Knitting Place. Every day, Dinah would come on and do an unboxing or talk about knits or talk about yarn. And so during COVID, I learned about this pattern through them. This is Abby Knits' The Party Top. Also, I discovered through Dinah at the Knitting Place different and new yarns. And that's kind of the thought process for this segment that I'm going to talk about right now. This is Julie Aslan, Les Yeux DK. Discovered this via the Knitting Place during COVID, and I thought, well, what happened was, if you look at this pattern specifically to start out, and I believe that Dinah or Pam or both probably had one knit up, and they had knitted, they had extended it into a longer length and maybe a little bit longer sleeve. The pattern itself, when you look at the pattern by Abby Knits, it is very form-fitting. It has short sleeves. It is very cropped. And on her pattern page, it was cropped like to right under the boob. And definitely not something that I would ever wear, for sure. But seeing some other projects, possibilities out there, I ordered the DK Julie Aslan yarn from the Knitting Place during COVID, and I knit this. And I love this. What I did is I also extended the sleeve they come just above my watch. But the eyelet really is the key to it. A super pretty simple pattern for sure. I believe I did twisted rib at the bottom. I definitely lengthened it, definitely widened it for me. And I just love this. I did helical knitting on this, but I did not helical knit until I got to the bottom here, because I don't think I did helical knitting here because I wasn't sure how you incorporate that helical knitting in the sleeve when there's eyelets. So I really didn't helical knit until I got here, but I thought it was pretty good just the way it was. And so I encourage you to look at this pattern out there on Ravelry or in my PJKnits 1 project page on it. I do love that. The one thing that I wish now that I would have done is maybe even made this just a tad longer, because what I find when I bend over that it kind of rises in the back. It's just not a little bit longer would have kept it from showing the back of, the back of my jeans when I'm wearing it, but I still wear it. I love this one. And this is a great transitional knit. And the thing is, if you knit on it now, you can wear it well into winter and then bring it back out in the early spring and wear it all the way to then. So I wanted to share that with you. And then last, the other COVID knit. This is really not a transitional sweater, but it's a perfect sweater for wearing right now. This is Anker's Summer Shirt by PJKnits. Also one of those yarns, patterns, designers that I found during COVID via the knitting place. And this is out of Sandisgarn Lena, whatever, yarn. They tout it as a worsted weight, but I really don't see it as a worsted. I think it's a little bit lighter weight than that. But I love this sweater. It's a perfect sweater for today. And as I've said before, I wear my knits. And so I'm going to go out to the grocery store in a little bit this afternoon. It's going to be 85, 87 degrees. I'm wearing my knits. I'm wearing them while I can, for sure. But what I want to tell you about this is that the yarn is machine washable and dryable. So I really like that. This is the first experience that I had with the yarn and the designer. And then I have knit another sweater from Lena as well, and I love it. I'll probably show it in a couple of weeks because it's although it's not transitional sweater, it's a transitional colorway and goes great with my, goes well with my aesthetic blue jeans, right? So just to stand up, I did make some modifications on the pattern again. Check my Ravelry page. I made the sleeve a little bit longer and the body a little bit longer, but I really do like this sweater. So there are several versions of Anker's. This is Anker's Summer Shirt. There's a lightweight version. If you remember from podcast last year, friend Debbie made this out of the Cardigan. She did the Cardigan out of a yarn that we got at Elgin Knitworks. That she got at Elgin Knitworks. But anyway, so I encourage you to kind of look at this one. And the thing about this is you certainly could adapt this and make it, which is a thought. I could make this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to pull this pattern out and make this for winter out of maybe a true worsted weight yarn. We'll see what PYS has. Oh, this has possibilities. And I'm going to make the sleeve long using my my sweater measurements that I've used for quite some time. Things that make you go, Arsenio Hall days. I see some yarn coming out of PYS into a long sleeve Anker's Summer Shirt for winter. Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I have to tell you something. I did a thing. Last week, I did a PowerPoint Zoom presentation for the Granbury Knitting Guild in Granbury, Texas. My friend Jan lives down there in Granbury, Texas, and is a part of that knitting guild. And she asked me last year if I would do some sort of presentation. So I did a PowerPoint presentation showing a lot of projects from my knitting wardrobe, and I talked about my journal. I talked about how I started knitting camp, went over about 15 minutes. It was so much fun, and I totally enjoyed myself, and I hope that Granbury Knitting Guild got some inspiration from my knitting. But as a thank you, I received on my doorstep Saturday night when I got home from Granbury, from Jan from the Granbury Knitting Guild, a new book that I have looked at but never bought, and it was so much fun. I spent a lot of in between napping in my chair day yesterday, thumbing through it, reading it, planning thought processes. It gave me food for places that might be nice to go to visit close by, but it's called Knitting the National Parks. And I know you all have probably seen this. This is a lovely book. This is not all of the national parks here are included, but they have hat patterns. They talk about the national park, and then there's a hat that goes with each one. And so, oh my gosh, Yellowstone. Never been. I've never been, guys. There's so many places that I haven't been, for sure. Colorado, Mesa Verde. Whoops. So many cool, and just, it is sectioned off by portions of the United States. Big Bend, Texas. Oh, wow. Super, super cool. It has all of the, it's divided up by the portions of the United States. And so the Midwest region, which is closest to me, were probably the first ones that I really want to, you know, to check out. Oh, there's even one for the Virgin Islands. Oh, gosh. Sorry. And there's the Badlands, which is South Dakota. There's one in Ohio. And then this one here, I thought this one caught my eye right away because it's really close, you know, 3 hours. It's the Gateway Arch, Missouri. And I thought this would be a fun one. So anyway, I just wanted to share this book with you, and tell Jan thank you, and tell the Granbury Knitting Guild thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed myself immensely, and I hope that you got something fun out of it. So that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool to be asked, and some fun. Now, I don't have a lot of mail call these days because I'm really trying to do PYS, but I got email call, and I got an email showing a new pattern out there from Carol Sunday of Sunday Knits called Kiteback. And this is kind of funny. So if you're part of her newsletter group, when there's a new pattern coming out, she emails you, and you usually get a discount on buying the pattern, and she'll probably have kits, right? And so I'm like, oh, I have this in PYS, this kit that I bought for another one of her patterns several years back, and haven't knit it yet. And I'm like, oh, I'll bet I can use that for it. Well, I didn't read very closely, obviously, the pattern. But anyway, so I went out and bought the pattern. And I love this. Oh my gosh. Kiteback. Here's what it looks like in the back. And I met Carol Sunday several years ago at knitting camp, and I love her designs. They're so unique, and I knit some of her yarns as well. So I just enjoy this so much when I saw this, and I thought that I could use the kit that I had. And that's what the schematic looks like. So my thought was that I'll just use my kit. So I bought the pattern. And then I realized after I bought the pattern and I pulled my kit out that maybe I should have just bought one of her kits, because she has on her website bunches of different color possibilities, and there was a discount on it at the time. And as I'm reading it, it says, you know, you get the kit and also the download for the pattern. I'm like, well, I've already bought the pattern. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm kind of sure what I'm going to do, not 100%, but I pulled out my kit from before, and I'm going to try and use this kit. Now, I don't have I have enough yarn in this kit that I have purchased for another of her patterns. I have enough yarn to knit this shawl, but I don't necessarily have enough. I don't have all the colorways that I should have. So I'm going to try and use this kit but also I'll probably have to double up. And she says in the pattern, you know, you could swap out the colors or whatever you want to do. So I'm going to try really hard to use the kit that I've got. Stay tuned for that. It's not a cast on that's happening right now by any means, but I'll just show you, and it's kind of the same premise because the kit has different, her Eden, her Nirvana, her Angelic yarns in it. And so I'm just going to give it a whirl. Brigadoon. So I'm going to try, I'm not taking these out because I want to keep them in there as they are. But I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it, you know. I think I can manipulate the color chart, the chart that she's given for colors on how to do them. I think I can manipulate that. So I'm super excited about this. And here is the kit from before. Look at all those colors. So I'm going to give it a whirl. It will help me use PYS. And the thing is, what happened was when I pulled up the pattern that I do have for this, I like it, but I really like this one better. So that's what I'm going to kind of try and do. And see how it happens. So I'm living on the edge, guys. I'm living on the edge. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. Later today, I'll have everything down below. I'll put all the links that I can down below. Please comment below for the Sandy Bag giveaway. Give me some ideas, some inspiration for places to go for decent, for food. Hey, and did I say this before that I don't like Greek yogurt, but I know I should eat it? If there's a Greek yogurt out there that you like, that you're like, this doesn't taste like Greek yogurt, let me know about that as well. That could be part of this whole thought process of getting on track here, getting better eating, cooking, exercising, you know, getting in better shape, feeling better, most of all, feeling better, and being able to keep up with all-day baseball tournaments and eating, you know, junk food and all of that, things you shouldn't be doing. So. Where can you find me? I am PJKnits on Instagram, which I do a lot of Instagram. That's my main focus. PJKnits1 is where you can find my projects on Ravelry. We have a PJKnits group. Please log on to Ravelry and become a part of our group there. I have a blog. It is www.pjknits.blogspot.com, where I talk about, you know, family and knitting and the weather and porch knitting and, you know, whatever fancy me, whatever. So we have a Saturday night Zoom, and that information is also on the Ravelry page. We have a great group of people from all over, and we talk about all the things except for religion and politics. We do not talk about those, and we kind of circle back to knitting, and we know this is a community that, you know, I've said it before, they are my life-saving people for sure. When you know, I look forward to Saturday nights, every Saturday night. You never know what's going to come up. So, but we talk about knitting and we knit through it. So, we enable everybody, and we know, find out about family and travels and all of those things. So please join us there if you're so inclined. All right, and that's the extent of it today. I hope you're having some great weather wherever you're at. Let's don't rush fall/winter too soon, but please get out there and finish up your transitional knits so you can be wearing them, you know, next month when it truly becomes fall comes back. And I will have some more of my wardrobe of transitional knits and those things when I don't have a finished project, and I hope you like that. I hope that that's okay. I try to choose ones that maybe I haven't highlighted recently, so it's not like, oh, you just showed us that in the springtime. And after I show it this year, I'm not going to show it again unless I've got it on my body. So go out there and work on some transitional knits and wear your knits, guys. Wear them, put them on, you know, show the world we're knitters. So until next time, have a great couple of weeks, and thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.